Welcome to Gem U, Gem Shopping Network's very own educational series designed to help our customers expand their knowledge in the vast world of gemstones and jewelry. And now, here's Alan.
Hi folks, welcome to Gem U, Gemstones of the World, part of Gem Shopping Network. Thank you for attending another class. We've had some wonderful feedback. We have a lot of people who enjoy the class, and we're going to continue with some more series down the road. A lot of people have asked me why gems from certain parts of the world. It's kind of complex, but it really boils down to something very unique and very interesting that I'm still learning about, we're all learning about, that the earth is not inert. The earth is ever-changing, and it's changing, it's growing, it's expanding, because on the axis, it's turning, and with the weight of the earth, it kind of balloons it or makes it grow over millions and billions of years. And it separates earth solids, makes the oceans larger or smaller over millions of years. Can you imagine? And I'm going to stay around for another 1.5 million, 2 million years to see the changes, just to get even with my wife. But it changes dramatically. And by that changing, due to weather, due to ocean changes and the minerals in the ocean, and earth movement, tectonic plates, the earth evolves, and there's different mineral and different structures are formed. And as that moves, different stones are formed. Nothing's inert, it changes. I think it was either Kant or Hegel, the philosophers, said the only thing is change is changeless. Other than that, we're in a constant flux. And that's one of the reasons you see minerals adding and subtracting that give us so many variety of stones in different parts of the world. I know that's a little broad, and I'm not going to go in any deeper than that, because today we're going to talk about Australia, one island that is remarkable in its wealth of gemstones. I'm going to start with diamonds, because it holds the Argyle Mines. They were originally found in 1979. And mining started there in 1983. I'm going to give you a remarkable statistics. From 1983 to the present, and the figure is correct, they have mined 800 million carats of diamond rough in that length of time. That's incomprehensible, but that's why the mine is growing smaller and smaller. It doesn't grow. It's like nature's teeth. When they're extracted from the ground, they don't grow back. But 800 million carats. And of that material, they figure about 80% of it are brown diamonds, 15% are yellow or yellow-hue diamonds, 3% to 4% are white diamonds. But listen to this, 1% makes up the fancy colors. Of all of that 1%, we're talking about the pinks to reds, the greens, yellow, and the blues. Remarkable. Can't you imagine? Only 1% of the fancy colors that come from that mine are the pinks and the colors I mentioned. And of that 1% of the pink, that represents 90% of the world production of pink diamonds. What's remarkable, folks, for those such a limited amount of pink and so much coming, that they have to mine 1 million carats of rough diamonds to get 1 carat that is sellable on the world market. Let's move to something else that's quite unique in Australia, and that's opal. It's one of the largest producing countries in the world. In fact, it produces 95% of the opals of the world. In the last few years, other finds have lowered that to about 80 or 85%. One of the most famous opals is the famous black opal from the Lightning Ridge mines in New South Wales. That's where the base of the stone is black to a grayish black. And it gives you such vivid colors, the reds, the blues, the greens, the yellows, the orange, and magenta. There are also other material that comes from that area of mines. You have crystal opal, you have fire opal, you have boulder opal and white opal. And a lot of that material comes from what they call the mines in White Cliffs in Queensland. Famous is the COOBER PEDY city built underground. COOBER PEDY is the mining area, but the weather is so hot and inhospitable that they have built underground a full city, homes, businesses, All of that material is underground. Now, what makes COOBER PEDY unique is that at one time there were over 50,000 working in that area, but with mines production slowing down, it's getting less and less. This is one of the problems. Opal mining means to the country of Australia and many of the cities in excess of $70 million. It's a lot of money in opal alone. The Aborigines in Australia think the color of opal, the bright color, the play of color, the phenomena of color, happens when a rainbow touches the ground. I kind of like that myself. And also, from that opals, something else was found over 100 years ago in the fields of ANAKIE. In those fields, they found sapphire, and they've been working those mines literally for over 100 years. They not only find the blue, they find the rare and unique green, one of the main sources of the world, and no longer. When we see green here, we're thrilled to see the material. So you have the blue, you have green, they have beautiful yellows, orange, pinks, and purples. Those fields are rich in so many other gemstones, it's almost impossible for me in this short time. You name the gemstones, and it comes from that part of Australia, ANAKIE fields. The other thing is, we don't know what can be in the future of Australia. It's such a large landmass, and it's so difficult, the outback is so inhospitable, it's hard for man to survive for mining and for prospecting. But in the future, as we grow in mining and prospecting and able to live out there in that wilderness, literally, it's unknown what gemstones that they'll find. The fields are massive. So I've got my fingers crossed that I'm around when they find that material. And last but not least, one of the most famous of all is harvested in the northern waters of Australia, off the coast of Darwin, and that's the famous South Sea pearl. They've been using this material since the 19th century, and the South Sea pearl is so unique in its beauty because it possesses something very famous in what you look for in pearls, and that happens because of water temperature. The physical conditions that form gemstones also help with the quality of pearls. The water can be too hot, too cold, the acidity in the water, the salinity in the water. All of these are factors in many things that go into it. One is the luster or the orient. That's that mirror finish you see. It's just so bright on your eyes. Another one is purity. The skin of that beautiful pearl is free of blemishes or beauty marks. Another one is the size. It can be a 10, 12, 15, 18 millimeter, very rare. And another one, a fourth one, is the roundness. Many people think all pearls are round. Not so. They're off round, or they're baroque, meaning misshapen. When they're perfectly round, they're referred to as an 8-way roller, 8 points of the compass. And last but not least is color. People think pearls of this size are all the same. They're white. No, there's a gray white, a silver white, a more pure white. Also, they pick up a little bluish color in them. And once in a while, if you're lucky, you have a little blush or rosé. It comes from an oyster that is the largest bearing oyster for pearls. That is called the Pincatata maxima. It's the largest mollusk. That's the size of a plate, folks. Let me show you the back. Look at the striations. Isn't that remarkable? Nature at her very best. And this is mother of pearl. Now this oyster is famous for the nacre, the purity and quality of its nacre. What is nacre? When a foreign object occurs inside this, and that can be a grain of sand, a piece of dirt, or the shell, you can see here, sometimes it gets a little thick and it sloughs off or breaks off, and they call that a horny substance, and that lands in the mantle. This oyster secretes the nacre. It's among the purest and finest of nacre. And it covers it up thinking that this will take the irritant away, like a pebble in your shoe. But it doesn't. It's a catch-22. It just makes it bigger and larger. Phenomenal. This you'll enjoy. Look at the difference in size. Is that remarkable? This yields the Tahitian pearl. Look at the color, but look at this. I want to move it so you see that play of color. Is that remarkable? Oh,